So folks, now it's time to try the app with Harrison, the Customer Success Manager. Harrison, you used to be on the job site. You used to be a site manager, and now you're helping site managers to use the latest technology. So let's see some of the typical things we'd want to do in an apartment block like this. Talk to me about it.
Yeah, so as a construction manager, a large part of my job is recording important evidence photos whilst we're going through the construction process. And usually that would have to be done either just on my typical phone and then emailed to myself. Whilst with this app, I know that any photos that I take through here, I can take evidence photos, record it, and anything which I click and save on here will be sent back to the Sablono database where it can be stored for other use.
Right, so what that really means, folks, is we go from phone straight to dashboard, but also we've now got a record of it, date, time, geolocation, everything. One thing on this job site is obviously we're in a high-rise apartment, and safety is really important. So above us here, folks, we've got all the fire safety elements that come with the cabling and stuff like that. That's something you would typically take a picture of, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would have to. To get compliance of the apartment at the end of the job. And what's really useful with the Sablono app is it makes you have to take those photographs, or else I can physically not continue with the process on the system. So I click information note.
Yep.
I can type in any additional text that I want about the photos.
So we're in flat 15B, so that's the photo from flat 15B, folks. Yep. And we're in the lounge room, I think, something like that.
Then click next. I can assign it to a responsible team. So if it's important for the dry lining team, I can assign it to them.
Yep.
And then I'll take a photo. Click. And then click OK.
Yep.
And then it's saved onto the system.
And that's the most important thing, what we've said there. Assign it to the right team, because before the dry liners come in, we need that to happen. We need that confirmation. They're not allowed to come in and go through the next part of the job without knowing that's happened. And so that's really important for the workflow, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because what typically happens is that if you are not on top of the process and say work is being covered up, say the ceilings are going in, and you don't know that you've taken the necessary evidence photos, before you know it, you're cutting holes in ceilings and going backwards.
Yeah.
And then that just delays the whole process.
And that's the snagging issues that come in on site. And obviously that team has now got to move on to another part of the job site, knowing that they're going to come back and have to do things like that, which is just not right. So this is following the process of things. And when we've got situations where people aren't able to get to the job site, whether it's illness, inclement weather, or whether materials haven't arrived because we've had a lot of rain, folks, so you don't want to be leaving plasterboard outside at the moment.
No.
That can be scheduled for the next day. And the other thing about it is you actually get email notifications, don't you? Or your colleague would get an email notification saying you've done that.
Yeah, so just when I took a photo there and assigned it to a responsible team, that team will now get an email notification to say, hey, this person has assigned this kind of activity towards you guys, and if you need to respond, then they know that they have to do it straight away.
Fantastic. And of course, at the end of that period as well, folks, you get a summary at the end of the day, because a lot of that stuff is happening on site. 15 teams on a site like this typically. So come on, let's go and find some more stuff to take some pictures of. Come on, come this way. So of course, folks, typically you want to actually understand the workflow of different things. So you've got the app here as well, and typically you want to understand what different groups of people want to know and how that is measurable through the app and how they can work through that flow. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, exactly. So for instance, if I was a trade like an electrical contractor and I wanted to know what work was available for me in an apartment, I could go into the app, I could even scan a QR code outside, and it will tell me all activities which are available for me to start work in a particular apartment.
Oh, right. So literally, if I've just finished here, folks, finished doing all my first fixing and everything like that, I might have just been standing around thinking, what's next to do? But now I just go straight to the app, click in that, literally walk around the corner, and I'm there on the job site. And I know my procedures and what needs to do in the order that they're done. And therefore, at the end of that job, guess what I do? Take another picture, put it in the app.
Yep. And you'll automatically just go onto the app, click that you've finished the work, answer any questions that need to be done. But once you've done it, you put in your digital signature, you click OK, finished, And then whoever is the next in line, whatever trade it is, they will automatically get a notification to say that they're ready to start the work.
Right, so literally it is a workflow that is accessible by anyone with a connected device on site. And who hasn't got a phone right now, folks, that you can download the app in? And so really totally changing the way in which people can work. So you've never got a situation where you don't know where you can go next, which is absolutely critical to getting a big building like this done on time, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's all about reducing that handover times where people have finished work, they haven't let the person go and inspect it, and then if they've seen the work and then they want the next trade to begin, all these delays cost time and money.
And of course, when you're the site manager, the big project manager, you've got the notifications coming through to you that allows you to quality check that and to look at the pictures and make sure you're happy before that goes to the next phase as well. So there is a ability to check as well from that management perspective.
Exactly, especially in the office, online, you're seeing everything which has been put in through the app, but on an even bigger scale.
Fantastic. So it's time to talk about more with the app now. And here, you know, we can see there's a lot of the electrical and the plumbing areas in here. And before these get closed off, it's really important that we check all the wiring and we'll also check all the plumbing and the pipelines, isn't it?
Yeah, all the time. Everything that before anything is covered over with any boarding, they always have to go through the proper commissioning checks.
So those commissioning checks go straight into the app, folks, and pinged out. So what it really does say to me is technology's here. You haven't got to take that picture, go to your computer typically, load it up into your other files, use your Excel spreadsheets to do it. All these things are linked together with notes and things like that, which that just tells people it's been done and in the sequence, isn't it?
Yeah, and even better, you can very easily share that with whoever needs to know. So if there's NHBC inspectors, if it's client, people like that, they can access it as well, either log on, see the information, or they can download as PDF copies.
Right, folks, and all of that's done from a big dashboard as well that you can have on your computer. So it's time to stop snagging here, it's time to stop taking pictures here, time to stop doing any of that. Come on, let's go and get that dashboard sorted out. Come on. And of course, folks, now we've got the demo account ready and I'm raring to go. Let's find out what this does as a dashboard. Take me through all the different segments. What is it all about? How does it actually work? How do we define it?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is based on a typical Excel tracker that is used on very complicated high-end residential projects. You've got all the activities going along the top here from left to right, along with who is responsible for doing that work. So you've got the M&E contractors, the dry liners, and the passive fire protectors as well. And then you've got all the deliverables, we call them, but these can be anything from blocks to levels to individual apartment units. You can click on each one individually. You can see what progress has been made for the apartment because the colours which are in the boxes. So green means work has been completed. Blue is where work has started, so you know where work is being currently done. And you can even see with the blue and the hatch here where work is available to start.
So we mentioned that before when we've got the electrician that's finished their job. Now they're having a look on the app, but also you as the project manager can go, right, we're ready to start that and alert everybody else that's coming into the job site saying, there's where you go first. That's all ready for you to go and do the first fix, for example.
Absolutely. So if I was a main construction manager and I didn't have time to go out onto site, I could still see what was going on live. I could get the information of where the dates are on the system, so I know if I'm behind or ahead of schedule. But I can also click on each individual apartment. I know where we are in the process because it's been updated. But then remember those notes which we were taking earlier?
On the app.
I can see that a note has been created because it shows me. I can click on it, I can expand it, and there's the photo that we took on site earlier.
And that's the beauty of technology, folks. One of the pictures we took on site earlier for the fire protection, most important in any building, of course. And so that is how technology works, from site to office and back again. So thanks very much, guys. Anybody wants to know about how you can get hold of the free version, I'll put a QR code at the end of this video. But until now, folks, I've got my free version. It's time for me to find a project to go and have a play with. Cheers.